What's up, everyone? This is the Next Tape Podcast, episode 168 with Mikel and
And Tanyka.
real conversations on different topics. So, on today's episode, we're going to be doing a three-topic episode.
Mm.
And
And I guess I'll be giving you the topics.
exactly.
All right. So, Ontario, Tim Hortons was targeted in an immigration fraud. So we'll talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Two Canadian law firms launch a class action case against TikTok,
Right.
and another class action case over Rogers outage has been approved. I'm not as familiar with class actions. I'm not sure how that works, but we'll talk
Mm-hmm.
about that too.
Okay. All right.
All right. So I'll break up the class action cases and put the Tim Hortons one in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
let me get the site up. It's taking a minute. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so a prospective class action lawsuit that was filed in Saskatchewan has put TikTok in the crosshairs, alleging the short form video app targets children and causes psychological harm. In a statement of claim obtained by CTV News, the plaintiffs take aim at the negative effects of TikTok's endless scroll on the minds of young people and its algorithms' ability to amplify their vulnerabilities, stimulating a satisfying rush of dopamine to prolong
Yeah.
the time spent on the platform in an addictive feedback loop.
Yeah, this has been reported dozens of times, but
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
but
yeah. But I think
no.
like again, I mean, I don't know how young these kids are that we're talking about in this situation,
Uh-huh.
but it's like, don't phones have parental controls where you can control how long your child is on a social media platform?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have kids, but I feel like there would pretty sure that there is, so that you can at least control their usage.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, maybe only with how addictive TikTok can be, maybe only say they can have half an hour to 45 minutes or something like that, so that they're not on TikTok. Like,
But
honestly go ahead.
you go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I was actually talking to a friend of mine about TikTok and just its influence on not just young people, but just adults because, like, I don't know if you noticed that, or maybe you probably don't know, so I don't know if you have cable, but, My Strange Addiction, do you remember that show from back in the day? You ever heard of My Strange Addiction?
Yes, yes, yeah.
Okay, so it's made a comeback. It's only had a couple episodes, I think, since last week, and
Mhm,
there's this one woman. I'm gonna try to keep this as PG as possible and as
yeah.
unnasty as possible, but this woman has this fascination of bottling her pheromones and thinking that that's going to attract a man. The
Mhm,
terminology is called vaping, which I've never heard of that term before until yesterday when I was
mhm.
stuck watching this for too long.
Right, right.
And both me and my mom were like watching this. We're like, "What the hell is she saying? Vibing? What the?" And then I realized, no, she's saying vabbing. And when I
Mm,
Google it at your own discretion, if you so
right.
choose, but let's just say it's disgusting.
Mm,
It's absolutely disgusting.
hmm,
And she says like, "Oh, I don't know why I can't keep a man." That might be why, ma'am. But this is a TikTok trend.
right.
So it's like you're doing this thing. I don't know how long you've been doing this thing for, but you're doing this thing potentially because you saw it on TikTok.
Mhm,
And this isn't one of many trends that people just grab onto and just go crazy with. And
mhm.
we're not just talking children, we're talking adults. I mean,
Yeah,
I don't particularly understand the fascination around TikTok. We've talked about it, like, me and you,
yeah,
we do not use it unless it's for the podcast.
mhm.
I've had no interest in searching TikTok for things. I could care less.
I mean, there's a lot of people like I see my coworkers like use who are like, in their 40s, 60s
Oh, yeah, no, it's
watch doom
everyone.
scroll. Yeah, it's
Yeah, yeah,
basically
yeah,
everyone.
no, they're
Yeah.
doom
So like
scrolling. Yeah.
basically um yeah, like it's a addictive thing. Like you want to watch the next thing over and over in short form.
Mhm,
And for
and it's
me,
right there
like,
for you.
yeah, yeah, exactly. For me, I like to watch long form content on YouTube. Like I just like to watch it. And when every single time I send somebody a long form video, they're like, "Oh, this is too long. Why is it 19 minutes?"
Yeah,
And I was
because we
like,
are
"What?"
so used in this generation, like, I don't know how YouTube really truly survives in today's world because when YouTube was a thing,
Mhm,
it was the new craze. It was, "Oh my gosh, you can watch all these videos on YouTube," and it was just such a different world. Now they
mhm,
have shorts and
mhm,
whatever, but
mhm,
it was just such a the thing. Where now we're so used to having quick, like, satisfaction.
I
We don't
mean,
wanna
YouTube,
wait for that.
yeah. I mean, YouTube does have shorts too. So
Yeah, YouTube has shorts now, but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't really look at the shorts on
No, I don't
YouTube.
watch shorts. No, I don't
It's not
watch the.
really if I'm gonna be on YouTube, it's because I want to watch a long form thing.
Mhm,
I don't go to YouTube so I can watch shorts. I could do that on TikTok if I wanted to, mind you, I don't.
mhm, mhm,
But even, like, if you look at Facebook, if you look at, like, Instagram, if you look at all of those other social media platforms, they and as well as YouTube, they've hopped on that TikTok bandwagon because it's worked for them.
mhm,
Even, like, if you're not a TikTok person, but you are, like, a Facebook Reel person or an Instagram I can't remember what they call it on Instagram, or I think they call them Reels too. If you're
right.
more of that world, and I think even I don't know if WhatsApp has jumped on it too, but WhatsApp's made so many changes that it's kind of mirroring the other social media.
Yeah,
Obviously, it's owned by Meta,
yeah,
but
well, technically, that's owned by well,
Meta,
Meta. Yeah,
Meta,
Meta.
yeah.
Technically Facebook/Meta.
Well,
But, like,
Facebook
yeah,
has
it's
now Meta is now Facebook, Instagram,
yeah, yeah,
WhatsApp.
yeah, yeah, there's
But
WhatsApp, Instagram, yeah.
yeah, so
But,
it's kind
yeah,
of come close to that too. But it's like I wouldn't be surprised if one day WhatsApp is gonna have that as a feature. That you can have
and it's
these shorts type situation because it's be seeing all the other ones. But I don't think it's gonna happen anytime soon, but I think I just wouldn't be surprised. That's all I'm saying.
mhm,
But with, like, Facebook, you think you're not doing what TikTok is doing, but you
mhm,
can get lost in those reels, man. I have. I've definitely gotten lost in the reels, um, but I always had to have kinda give myself a limit
mhm,
and be like, "I'm not gonna go past this limit, and I'm gonna" because usually I tend to do it I'm going to bed. Try not to do
right.
it during the week, but if it's, like, a Friday, like, whatever, I don't have work the next day, then I will go a little longer.
Yeah,
But 9 times out of 10, it's like half an hour, if I'm going to do
mhm,
half an hour, and
mhm,
that's it, done. But I'm an adult, and I know I can have self-control. Some adults don't have self-control, but I have to implement that self-control for my health. Like, it's a health thing. I have to be careful.
well,
Um,
for me, the only thing I doom scroll is, like, when it comes to Twitter, like, I do scroll, but, like, I
no, that's a
do
place I do not wanna
it's
doom scroll.
yeah, but it's most likely, sports, like, pop
Yeah.
culture and news, like,
Well,
such
that's
a
your also your
when it comes to pop
algorithm, right? You've set it to
yeah,
be that
yeah,
way. Yeah.
like, political news or whatever.
And that's
But
the
yeah,
thing, you have
yeah,
to
but
use it
yeah.
enough for it to happen. So,
Mhm,
like, for me, I could never because my algorithm isn't probably properly set
mhm.
for on Twitter, so I just don't go there.
Well, when we were away in December, right?
Mhm.
Australia became the first country to, ban social media for children under
Australia.
16. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they blocking access to, like, platforms including TikTok and Google and YouTube and Meta
And
Instagram
Google, how
for
do you
children.
block Google? It's a search engine.
Um,
It's not
I'm
really
not
social
sure.
media.
I'm not sure. Probably it's just YouTube, just not Google. Google.
Well,
Yeah, Google
Google and
is
YouTube
yeah, I
is
know, but
all
like
yeah.
I know, but like Google.
But you can't block people from using Google. It's not social media, it's a search engine. I mean,
Yeah,
like, when
true.
I was in
Yeah.
school, we used remember back in the day where you would ask
Mm.
Jeeves, Google before Google
Oh
was a
yeah, I
thing.
see. And then before then, it was
Oh,
encyclopedias.
Jeeves. I wonder if Jeeves is still around. Um,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah.
yeah, no, but again, like, we're adults and we can and should be,
Mhm,
managing what we're doing.
mhm.
With children, they can't always they don't know when to stop. We're all
Yeah.
children, we don't know when to stop. That's why you had your parent telling you when to stop, right?
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
Do
but I
you think
also
something do you think something like this would work in Canada? Like,
like,
uh,
doing a band like that,
yeah. Would it increase problems in Canada?
I
Because I believe that
here's the thing, like, I just don't know how that would work in our country.
mm,
Like, our
mhm,
country is bigger than Australia. Obviously, Australia is a very small
mhm,
country/continent.
mhm,
So, I think maybe it's easier for I mean, the population is huge, mind you, but
mhm, mhm,
I think, like, might be easier for them to kind of do something like that.
mm,
Um, Whereas I just don't know if that's something we would do here. And I think, like, kinda similar to kind of what we've talked about, like, within the
mhm,
States and the States kind of saying, "Oh, you as a child under 18, you can't transition no matter what your parent says." I mean, I don't disagree with Australia's choice to do it. I think
mhm.
it's a good choice, but I also think that the government should not be parenting your children.
That's what I also think too. Like they shouldn't
Yeah.
be parenting. I think the parenting should be from the parents,
Mhm.
and they should be doing. I'm not going to say their jobs, but
Well, no,
um,
in a sense, that is your job. Your
y-
job is whatever job you get paid for, and then your job is also if
technical.
a parent if you are a parent. So,
Mhm,
yes, it's your job, and I just wonder, is this the government kind of having, like, this stronghold over the population, which I've never would have thought Australia would be that way? Or
mhm,
is it because parents aren't, as you said, doing their job? And
mhm,
the thing is, it's like, I mean, I hate to hate on my own generation, but I'm gonna have to. It is our generation and the older, Gen Zs that are raising kids right now. And I don't know as a collective if we're always doing the best of jobs.
mhm,
I think we're a more lax generation with our children.
mhm, mhm.
I think we let children kinda do as they want or get away with things or
Yeah.
whatever, and it doesn't always work.
Mhm,
Yet, when we're kids, we
mhm.
don't wanna be controlled or told what to do or all of that. But when
Yeah.
I look at the parenting style of my mom, yes, there are certain things I change,
Mhm.
but there's a lot of things that I would hold on to and carry that forward when I become a parent. I don't
Right.
think there's anything wrong generally how I was raised, you know? And I was raised by Gen X. So it's I mean, I turned out okay, you know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
And So, yeah, it's just
I well, I know some parents are probably trying to, like, adapt to each and every single, situation, because like,
mhm.
you can't use, like, old
No, no,
generation,
no, no, no,
parent,
because
yeah, yeah.
for legal reasons,
Mhm,
you couldn't
mhm,
be raising kids these days the way they were being raised in, like, the '80s,
yeah,
because
because
in the
like,
'80s, they seem to believe in corporal punishment. Can't do that now.
yeah,
And I
yeah.
no, and I'm not saying that that's something that should
Yeah,
be
yeah,
happening,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
agree
yeah,
with
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But, yeah, I just think we have to be a little bit more disciplined with our kids. Our kids need to be okay to
Oh,
hear
yeah,
no,
yeah, be
you know?
disciplined, yeah, yeah, I
And
just yeah, yeah, yeah,
some of
go
them are
ahead.
not capable of hearing no.
Mhm.
And
Yeah,
yeah.
I feel it. Yeah, I feel like a lot of parents are, give, like, certain, like, devices to distract them, which is like,
Mhm.
I feel like that's a bad, uh, thing to do, um, you know,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
and then
I see people that do, like, even when I see people, like, on the GO train or whatever with
mhm,
smaller kids, it's like, I'm
mhm,
talking, like, toddlers.
mhm,
It's I see that happen because it's so it makes me sad at the same time because it's like, you see
mhm,
these children clearly starved for your
mhm,
attention
mhm,
as you are their parent
mhm,
with, like, people my age or even
mhm,
younger, and the parent is on their phone, ignoring the child, and then what do? They'll shove a screen in front of their face.
mhm,
It is very rare, but I've seen it, but it's very rare when you see a parent actually engaging with their young child these days. And it makes me sad because it's like I back in the day, they 2020 did a study
mhm,
on those types of scenarios where a parent isn't paying attention and their child is trying to get their attention. They get frustrated, they get angry,
mhm,
and they feel some form of neglect.
right,
Your child feels it. So it's like, get your head out your phone, pay attention to your child, because then later on you're going to be like, "Oh, I missed those days when they were young," but you weren't paying attention to them when they were young.
mm,
You know? It's not it's yeah. Like I see like I don't know how my friend is with her kids and she was never like that. She never was
mm,
like a person who was stuck up in her phone, or if she was on her phone, she wasn't like ignoring her kids, you know? So I we need more of that, you know? Just pay attention to your kids. Don't let them cry like that because they want your attention. Yeah, kids are spoiled brats sometimes, but still, I don't think you
right,
can over spoil them with your attention. You know what I mean?
I agree, yeah, no, yeah,
Anyways, let's get back to the article here. So, two law firms are behind the suit against TikTok and its parent
mhm,
company, Limited, which is Vancouver's, these are the law firms, Vancouver's Rice Harbett Elliott LLP and the Regina-based Willows Welsh, or I believe,
mhm,
and Grundy LLP. A plaintiff in this case is a Saskatchewan toddler who was an infant at the time of filing. I have a question, kind of going back to what we were just talking about.
right,
What is your toddler doing on TikTok? What is your infant doing on TikTok? Because apparently this lawsuit is supposed to be for the children.
mhm,
So how are your children on like there's an age requirement I believe for your child to be on any social media. It ain't toddler.
yeah, I
Oh,
don't know why parents have, like, toddlers, like, watching,
no.
uh, makes no sense at all.
Like it's weird. Quote, among other harms, the defendant's social media platforms facilitate cyberbullying, contribute to obesity and eating disorders, instigate sleep deprivation to achieve around the clock engagement, encourage or counsel high risk behavior, encourage
Mhm.
children to negatively compare themselves to others, and
Mhm.
develop a broad discontentment for life, and have been connected to depression, anxiety, self harm, and ultimately suicidal ideation and
Mhm.
attempts. The lawsuit alleges. Here's the problem. This
Mhm.
case is going to go on for a really, really long time because I think, and I wouldn't blame them, but I think, TikTok and its parent company are going to be like, it is not our responsibility to parent your children. That is your responsibility to parent your children. That doesn't mean you then bring
Absolutely.
a lawsuit because you are not regulating when and how long your child is on TikTok.
Mm.
Like, I don't know what TikTok's intentions were for the age requirement for it, but it's not their responsibility. And unfortunately, and I hate to say this part, but I'm going to, cyberbullying has been a thing long before TikTok was a thing. So, were
Mm.
you going to then come after Facebook, Instagram, all these other platforms to say like this is going to harbor cyberbullying? Well, yes, it is going to, and it shouldn't be happening. But suing a social media platform isn't going to make that better. Putting in um, legislation, which I think has taken way too long, is
Mhm.
what's going to help that situation. And then maybe at that time you can come after social media's platforms potentially.
Mhm.
Um, but I don't know. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so none of their allegations have been proven in court. The suit, which has yet to be certified as a class action, so there is like a process. They have to go through a certification motion. It's a whole thing. I know very little about class action cases, but I know some stuff. Um, so yeah, it has to be certified as a class action. Is one in a wave of recent legal and regulatory actions against the company. NPR reported in October of 2024 that 14 U.S. states, led by New York and California, filed suit against the company, claiming it was deliberately designed to keep young people hooked on the service. NPR reporters Bobby Allen, Sylvia Goodman, and Dara Kerr obtained internal reports from the Chinese-owned social media giant revealing the company was aware that children as young as 15 years old were, were stripping on TikTok's live feature and adults were paying for it.
Hmm.
That is a criminal offense, and
Yeah.
that goes way deeper.
Is that happening in America or is that
That was
happening?
happening in America.
Mm.
But that can happen anywhere, right? Where,
Right.
a teenager thinks it's okay to be doing I mean, listen,
Mhm.
if I did anything like that as a 15-year-old or a teenager at any time,
Mhm.
again, this is the difference of parenting styles, I guess. My mom would have killed me. There's just no way, my mom killed me for having not necessarily, no, obviously not literally, but I got so
Mhm.
in trouble when she found out I had, like, a MySpace account,
Mhm.
you know? Um, so it's like and I wasn't doing that, I never would have thought
Mm.
to. So it's
Yeah.
gotta
Well,
protect our children.
like technically a lot of these kids go upstairs, shut their
Oh,
doors,
yeah.
and
No,
their
no.
parents don't know
I'm
what
not
they're.
saying I'm
Um.
not saying that the 15-year-old or whatever is not making a decision and doing that. I'm
Mhm.
not denying that that's happening.
Mhm.
But what I guess what they're trying to say, because like with Facebook or
Mhm.
any meta platform, there are rules and regulations.
Mhm.
You can't be doing stuff like that on those platforms because your account's going to get shut down. You're going to get
Mm.
sucked. Just, the term.
Right.
So TikTok needs to have rules in place, knowing that their demographic is younger,
Mhm,
the younger generation, then they need to be putting, policies in place where it's like you can't, you know, post nude photos. You can't do any of those types of things or go live and strip. You can't do any of those things. And if you do, your account's going to be banned.
mhm,
I'm surprised that that's not a thing. Like, how is
mm,
that happening? Now on Twitter, it's the wild, wild west. There, listen, there are body parts on Twitter
mhm,
just out there, but people know that, and whatever. Maybe that's something in the future, but it's never seemed to come up or whatever. But where children or something are doing that, but that's not okay. You know, that should not
mhm,
be happening, and that should not be.
right,
TikTok needs to do better there. But um, so according to Allen, Goodman, and Kerr, TikTok can even quantify the precise amount of viewing time it takes to form a habit, and it's 260 videos.
hmm,
It's a lot of videos.
yeah,
Given some of those videos are only a few seconds long, they write you can be addicted in under 35 minutes. According to
yeah,
NPR, a presentation shown to top company officials revealed an estimated 95% of smartphone users under 17 use TikTok at least once a month. A new Washington Post investigation corroborates the addictive nature of the app. The Washington Post analyzed the viewing history of 800 TikTok users over a 5-month period, finding that even occasional users had doubled the time they spent on the app by the end. Heavy users
mm,
spent about 4 hours a day scrolling through their feed. I don't, 4 hours a day? I could never. I would get nothing done. I'd lose
mm,
my job. You know what I mean? 4
hours a
hours
day.
a day, like, that's insane.
Hmm,
Um, the
unless they're
federal sorry, go
unless,
ahead.
uh unless they're doing it after work, like, you know,
Well,
or between lunch.
we're talking kids here, right?
Oh, okay,
Right,
right.
so we're talking, like, these are kids who are probably coming home from after school. Most
Okay,
schools let up by around 3:30,
hmm,
9 times out of 10. So it's like, what, from y
probably
but
yeah,
they're probably
probably.
doing it throughout the day as well.
So, in the mornings, probably lunch,
Mhm,
recess, lunch,
mhm.
and then,
After school.
after school. Yeah, so that's probably, like, a roughly, yeah, I
I
would
mean,
say 4
seriously,
hours, yeah. Break it down.
recess must look so different in schools these days. People just on their phones. That's what
Yeah.
recess looks like. I bet. Back in the day, that's not what it was. You actually had to, like, you could do whatever you wanted. Run around, do stupid stuff, not worry about a phone in your pocket, you know what I mean? Recess must look so different. And
Mm,
I never thought about it until this very moment. Wow, okay. Uh, Last month, the federal, Quebec, Alberta, and BC privacy commissioners released the results of a joint investigation into TikTok, which they launched in 2023. They said in a media release that while the platform is meant for kids under 13, they found hundred of thousands of Canadian children use TikTok each year, and the company collects and uses their personal information. The
mm,
privacy authority said TikTok has agreed to strengthen its communications on privacy measures and enhance the use of age assurance methods to ensure underage users don't access the platform. They noted the company also made some improvements to its practices during the investigation, but said they would continue to monitor the situation. Privacy and safety concerns have swirled around TikTok and its Chinese parent company ByteDance because of Chinese national security laws that compel domestic organizations to assist with intelligence gathering. See, that's interesting to me.
mm.
In China, you can't even have Facebook, but
Yes.
TikTok's okay. That doesn't make no sense to me, but I
Hmm,
digress. Um, So last year, Canada's federal government ordered the dissolution
Uh,
of TikTok. You gonna say something?
yeah, it's owned by China.
Yeah, no, no, I know it is.
Oh, okay, I
But what I'm just
understand.
trying to say
It's
is
probably rough reasons
you
why.
guys, China does not allow Facebook in its country, but you will allow TikTok, which is a very addictive app. It doesn't, what I'm trying to say is the irony of that just doesn't make sense, but it is
Invest
what it
into
is.
your own
No, no,
tech
no, I'm not
companies.
denying that, but I'm just trying
I
to
know, I
say
know, I know,
like
I know. That's what they're doing. So,
communism at its finest. But anyways,
mhm,
last year, Canada's federal government ordered the dissolution of TikTok's Canadian business following a national security review of ByteDance. In the US, TikTok could soon be the hands of a cadre of American billionaires handpicked by the Trump administration. Why? Why can't I have one moment? Anyways, um, so yeah, they were talking about that. The executive order is the result of a Biden era law prohibiting the foreign ownership of TikTok. As
yeah,
we know, that kind of happened, and then
yes,
Trump's like,
due to
I'll bring it back. Um,
due to security reasons, and I'm
yeah.
guessing that's what happened. And then,
Yeah, I mean, if you remember this time last year, TikTok in the States was not a thing for like 3 or 4 weeks, whatever it was. And then as soon as Trump entered office, he's like, "I'll fix it," and then ruined everything else. But yes, that's what happened. Um, Meanwhile, like, we still had TikTok here in Canada, but it was just the States for that short period of time. But, yeah, I mean, that's basically it for
yeah,
that.
at the time, a lot of the countries were thinking about like um, looking into TikTok as a security risk,
Mhm.
right? So like
I
whatever
mean, I think
America,
Biden had the right idea with that. I mean, I think Biden had the
yeah.
right idea with a lot of things,
Uh,
but
well,
here we are.
yeah. Well, a lot of countries are, sorry, the middle powers are, going away from America now. So like,
Mm.
so
I'm stressing about life right now because I swear to God. Anyways,
yeah,
let's move
yeah.
on
But
because that's depressing for me right now.
no,
Let's talk Tim Hortons. So, a Tim
hmm
Hortons restaurant in the Prince
hmm
Edward County town of Picton is under investigation for alleged immigration fraud, while the conduct of an OPP officer called to remove a member of the media deemed to be trespassing is being investigated internally.
hmm
The OPP said it is aware of a video circulating widely on social media
hmm
showing an officer who was responding to a request from staff to, quote, remove an individual who was filming inside their business, telling
hmm
staff he would not ask the representative from Rebel News to leave, saying the reporter had the right to be on the premises. You know,
mm.
technically. Anyways, quote, she is an independent journalist. She has 100% right to be there. The officer told the Tim Hortons employee in the video taken by Rebel
What
News. Go ahead.
what's the journalist call it? If it's a rebel, then they're not true journalists. But if it's someone
It
like,
is apparently Rebel News.
oh God,
Journalism is journalism. That's all I'm going to say.
they're like the truck convoy. They're like far right wing crazy type
I
of
see.
reporters.
But
So it's like,
journalism is still journalism, if you don't
yeah,
agree with it. Right?
yeah.
We're
Go
all
ahead.
entitled to our views,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess.
Not not them.
So
Whatever.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So yeah, it said that she's allowed to be there. Um,
Mm.
and
Go ahead.
the video was taken by Rebel News Tamara, I think it's Ugolini. She has the right to do that. The
They're
OPP stated that the business had the legal right to ask someone to leave if they were engaging in an activity that was considered prohibited. Fair enough. The owner or person in charge of the property is responsible for deciding what is prohibited. If the individual refuses to leave when asked, they may be trespassing. In that case, the owner or occupier can call the police to help remove the person from the property. We
yeah.
acknowledge that the officer's response in the video does not align with the provisions of the Trespass to Property Act.
Aren't you? Aren't they supposed to ask? the management to if they want to do like an interview or anything, they can like enter and buy something, but like if they want to interview something, they're supposed to like talk to management first before they get to somebody to interview.
It's the ethical thing to do. Um, I think, like I guess it all depends on what this person's motives were and what they were doing. Did they order anything? Which then would automatically make you a patron
Uh,
of that restaurant. That's all of these questions that we don't have the answer to. Um, but yeah, like, I mean, if they, for whatever reason, were going to interview someone there at Tim Hortons, then yes, it's not required, I'm sure, but it's the ethical thing to do, I would think. But
yeah, they always said they have a right. They have a
yeah,
right to do it, but
freedom of speech, right?
it's actually private property, so they can tell
Yes,
them if they can go.
yes. Yeah, it's
But
just
they
like a
all
homeless person, right? Like in Toronto, like if they're just walking into a Tim Hortons, which happens all the time, they can be asked to leave, even like in the path, which is you would think it's fair game. In the path, it's not. If a person is a nuisance or a person they feel should not be down there, they will escort you out. It's it's not crazy. You just don't expect it, I guess, from a journalist. Being told to leave for no reason, I
oh,
guess.
those guys well, those guys are crazy. Cause like
Yeah, no,
I
I'm sure
just saw
there's a reason.
I saw a clip with them bothering Justin Trudeau during the Davos, uh, walking and just like bothering him while he's going to to uh I think walking towards like listen to go listen to Mark Carney's speech.
Mhm.
Uh, they're bothering about, oh, what's it like to murder so many people? This and that. Just in his
What?
face, and I'm like, where's the security guard? Like, where is he? I'm like, he's just
And you would think
behind
he would
him.
still have, like, a security detail, but
Yeah,
I don't
but
know, maybe he doesn't.
it's behind he's behind him while
And he's
these
not doing
guys are trying
anything.
to like asking like just they're that close to him. I'm like like stop annoying him. Like he's no longer the prime minister anymore. He did the best
Yeah,
he could
people
do during
fixate
the
on things,
COVID.
right?
So like, like
People fixate on things. That's the
yeah.
problem.
And and I just rebel I just like I seen so much like ignorant stuff when it comes to rebel news. It's like I respect, the Global Mail, the CBC, etc. They do CB24. They do a great job, right?
Mhm,
But
yeah.
Rebel News, Jesus, like the stuff that I see, the clips I see on like Twitter or on YouTube, a lot of like like it's like a pick me type of thing. Like they try to uh we have the right to be here, da, 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 and then the security
Everyone
guard
has a right
comes.
to be somewhere, but doesn't mean that you should be there. You know what I mean? Does that
Yeah,
make sense?
that's yeah, and like just leave the premise. Like it's just like
No one
they're a
wants you
bunch of
here.
pick me's. It's just like bunch of pick me journalists. So
Well,
like like
um, so the alleged immigration fraud story broke after a 17-year-old employee at the Tim Hortons restaurant in Picton alleged her then manager gave her an offer. Marry his brother, who was an Indian citizen, in exchange for $15,000 in cash. The
mm,
um the alleged proposition is illegal. No shit. And punishable by a 5-year prison sentence. Tim
so
Hortons so this was the immigration fraud. When I say Indian
oh yeah, I
citizen,
heard
they're
about
talking
that.
like I think India.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, so the alleged proposition is illegal and punishable by a 5-year prison sentence. Tim Hortons media confirmed the franchise owner terminated the manager involved after he became aware of the completely unacceptable situation on his team. The OPP media liaison confirmed that police conducted an initial investigation and that the
Mhm,
matter has now been referred to the Canada Border Services Agency. The OPP also declared that the conduct of the officer is being reviewed and addressed internally to reinforce appropriate conduct and application of the law. We
mm,
remain committed to supporting our members with ongoing training and guidance to help ensure responses reflect legal standards and the professionalism we expect from our officers. The OPP values the trust placed in us by the public and remains committed to respectful, lawful,
mm,
and informed interactions across all communities we serve. Well, at least has been resolved, and people who need
well,
to be terminated were terminated. Because my God,
yeah, I heard about that. That was terrible. That was reported by TV 24 as well. Like, I saw that, and I was like, "Oh, wow."
yeah, it's
I was like,
horrible.
"Okay." Yeah. But, yeah, no,
Um,
like,
I
I
didn't.
just don't yeah. I just don't get why people watch Robin News. It's a lot of misinformation on
Yeah.
with them. So, but whatever, whatever. So,
Anyway, let's do our final topic, another class action one.
mhm,
So, the Superior Court of Quebec has given the go ahead to a class action lawsuit against Rogers and its subsidiaries. So, that includes Fido and Chatter over a
mhm.
national outage that occurred in April of 2021. Do you remember that one? Was it? No, wait, April 2021 was a different one. How many outages was Rogers dealing with in 2021? Because I remember an outage here in Ontario that was in, I think, July of 2021. And there's been others, but that was a massive one. Do you remember that one?
Yes, I remember that one.
Yeah, like, it
They
affected
actually give
everything.
a they, including Fido, they actually give you a credit. They give you, like, I don't know how much was a credit. I think it was, like,
Back
5
well,
fif
that outage didn't just
somewhere.
affect, like, Rogers' phone or cell phones or stuff like that. That
Mhm,
outage
mhm.
affected, you know,
The banks
buying
and
the
all, yeah,
banks and
yeah,
doing
yeah,
transactions, and
uh,
it affected everything. That was a
mhm,
bad outage.
and
But
yeah,
this one apparently was in April of 2021, and I guess this was in Quebec, but, like, what
mhm,
Rogers, can we get ourselves just all the way together? Like, this
mhm,
shouldn't be happening as often as it's because again, like, that outage in 2021, there's been others. There was one, like, a year after that, not as bad, but, like, there was another one a year later, and I'm like, "What is going on with Rogers? Like, what in the Lord?" Anyways, so, the Quebec based law firm Lex Group published a notice regarding the lawsuit's approval, and several of Rogers' customers received text messages notifying them of the authorized class action. Some recipients took to social media to ask if the text was a scam. Understandable,
mm,
given how prevalent scams are these days and how often we see scams related to telecom outages. I mean, I would think the same thing. According to the notice, the lawsuit alleges that members of the class suffered damages due to a service interruption that occurred on Rogers' wireless network starting on April 19th, 2021. This isn't to be confused. Also, I think this actually 2020, was it 2022? It was 2022, not 2021. So this says
mhm,
this is not to be confused with the infamous July 2022 outage that took out
mhm,
Rogers' wireless and internet service for multiple days across Canada. That was so bad. Um, if the lawsuit is successful, class members may be eligible to receive compensation, including reimbursement of service or subscription fees, as well as other compensa- ugh, compensation.
compensation?
Thank you. Well, they said a
Mhm,
different term, but it's fine. And or
mhm,
punitive damages. It's worth noting that class members don't have to pay for their attorney fees. Instead, those are taken from the damages awarded through the class action, which is typical, or Rogers may have to pay the fees if the court decides. For now, there's nothing you need to do unless you want to be excluded from the class action. The next step for the lawsuit will be a trial to determine the validity of the claims. Now that I think that already happened, but
mhm,
those who wish to be excluded from the class action. Oh no, I don't think it happened yet. It was saying that those who wish to be excluded from the class action had to notify the clerk of the Superior Court of Quebec in the District of Montreal. That was on November 23rd, 2025. So if you didn't say it before then, you're in it.
Uh-huh.
Um, Quote, we're continually investing to bring Canadians the best network experience. We have already credited our customers and look forward to defending the case. And that was said by a Rogers spokesperson regarding the lawsuit.
Hmm.
Anyways, the outage apparent so this particular outage, so it took place on April 19th, 2021, and Rogers restored service to most customers the following day. It impacted wireless calls, SMS, and data services. At the time, Rogers blamed the outage on an Ericsson software update, and it offered bill credits to impacted customers.
Hmm.
So that's basically that. It doesn't say anything about internet, but I hope it didn't affect internet because
Right.
that was at a time where people, had to rely on the internet to do their
Yeah,
jobs when they were
we need
remote.
more competition, I would say. Cause like,
Yeah, but I
but then
think
again, oh, go ahead.
I think that's all. Just I was gonna say this quick. I think back then, like maybe now people would venture, but I think back then, knowing that most businesses were going remote, I think people wanted to go to well-known, quote unquote, reputable companies because you wanted to make sure you had reliable internet.
Mhm,
Um, so when you kind of saw like with Rogers and how that happened, it's like not so reliable. And I mean, I've
mhm,
learned that, working hybrid, it's like
mhm, mhm.
internet's not always reliable. But anyways, say what you were gonna say.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, I think we just need more competition in the in that space, and I think because like we can get because like Bell and Roger are very like the very powerful like
Mhm.
internet and phone and telegram telecommunication powerhouses to the point that they gobble up the competition, so they buy out the other companies. So like, and
Exactly.
they have to use the lines. Like a lot of the smaller companies have to use their lines because like they have a lot of lines in Canada. So like you know,
Yeah, no, we
I
don't
don't know
have
how
that.
that. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know how that's gonna like even competition. I don't know how that's gonna happen. But it is what it
Well,
is.
even if
It's,
companies, like you said, like companies pop up and,
mhm,
they're gonna try and do this thing.
mhm,
Eventually, like when you have either a Rogers or Bell coming in and offering you sweet, sweet money to buy this
mhm,
company off of you,
mhm,
it's hard for people to not pass that up. You know what I mean?
mhm, mhm,
So that's the problem. Like I don't really know how, you know, obviously Fido was kind of the first one for Rogers that
mhm,
they had. Like I didn't even know they owned Chatter, but um I don't know if like they just kind of created this cheaper version or if they bought Fido out. I don't know. But it's like how could that's how it's always gonna be, where they're gonna buy out these companies and because they can. They have the money
mhm. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
between them and Bell.
Mhm. Well, another thing too is like I would like to give a shout out to our prime minister for standing up to a lot of the middle countries out there, and also doing a trade deal with China, and
Mhm.
also doing a lot of uh you know standing up to that
That guy.
that orange buffoon
That guy.
in America.
Did you
So
watch his I
speech,
know
yeah,
he
I
did a press
watched.
conference about that. Did you watch it?
Great, yeah. No,
Okay.
the press conference after or the speech or
Well, oh, I
the
think it
world
was a speech, but
WEF.
obviously, yeah, it was
Oh,
cameras were there.
yeah, the speech was great. You should watch the speech. Speech is like he didn't name him, right? But it
Right,
was just like a lot of subliminals. Like it was just
right.
basically
Where he
uh
said, kind of said
it's,
like Canada doesn't survive because of the U.S.
yeah, that was a
Yeah.
speech after
Okay.
he the one he did in WEF, that's like the world leader, like, type of conference, right?
Mhm,
Um, he basically said some line that I really like. Nostalgia is not a strategy.
mhm,
So like basically that means like going back to the US and investing like old times, like keep on going. A lot of the middle countries are basically going back and um, you know, trying to warm up to Trump and
which is all, like, his tactic.
yeah. But,
Yeah,
he's basically saying that no, nostalgia is no longer a strategy. And then
mm,
he's saying that another quote he did, he said, we're putting our, when a store closes the store and they have the sign, we're putting our signs down or something like that. He said something like that. Some
mhm,
type of quote. I might be misguiding the quote, but like
mhm.
we're putting our signs down, meaning that I think we're not for sale.
We're
That's
closed.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he
Yeah,
has
because
a
I've
couple.
been
Yeah.
hearing these rumors that, like, Trump
Hmm.
is wanting to, like, evade
Yeah.
Canada, and I'm
That
just like,
Green,
"Where do you think that's gonna take you?"
Greenland, um,
Well,
Denmark,
Greenland, by the way.
Denmark. Yeah.
You don't say the land like that, Greenland. But,
You
no.
mistake Greenland with Iceland.
No, no,
Yeah.
no.
So
You say
I heard his.
Greenland. You
Yeah.
say Greenland.
He said that's what he said.
That's yeah.
But
Um, but again, like, with Greenland, it's like they wanna be clearly left alone. What is your purpose of trying to take over Greenland?
because
Like,
I think he wants like I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's my God. They have oil and gas.
oil, right, okay, yeah,
Venezuela has oil and
right.
gas.
So he's going after
Uh,
these places that have oil and
yeah.
gas. What is and that would explain too why he
And
is
I'm
trying to
not
come
sure about
after
Greenland.
Canada.
I think Greenland's different. I think that he's going after something different that he wanted. I don't remember what it was, but
I
like
don't know.
it's.
But it would
But
be
I
weird.
know.
Maybe it is that. But again, it's like that would explain why he wants to try and come after us because we have oil and gas here as well. So,
Yeah.
like, I don't like what's your purpose for that? Like, why do you if you weren't such a jerk, this would be a non-issue. But you are who you I'm sorry, but like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
funny because
And
I see people talking about and I completely forgot about this. But I see people talking about like the again, I don't use the same word, irony that people talked about wanting to impeach Obama for wearing a tan suit, a suit he looked damn good in.
mm,
But Trump is he's fine. Like what the hell? Like the things that people nitpicked about Obama, it was stupid, mind you, but it's just you see what this guy is doing to your country. Just point blank period, forget everywhere else, your country. He doesn't give
mm,
a about his own people. If he did, he wouldn't be out here trying to say a mom from Minnesota was, n you know, some sort of terrorist. He doesn't give a about his own people. I don't wanna
yeah.
talk about this anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. No worries. So I'm not worried about our requirements. I think he's doing a great job so far.
Oh, yeah, no, I've no
He's
issues
doing
with
an
that.
awesome job. So I just you know. So yeah. Yeah. That's basically it
Mhm,
for this episode. So yeah.
yeah. So our next episode is going to be our Netflix episode.
Mhm.
That's coming on Wednesday.
Mhm.
But other than that, I think that's it.
All right.
All right.
Okay.
So this is where we say goodbye because we have an outro.
Yeah. Bye,
All right.
everybody.
Bye, everybody. If you liked what you heard with our podcast, you can head on over to our website, which is solo.to/next take podcast. There you can get any of the links to any of our social media, which is Facebook, Instagram at Next Take Podcast, and Twitter, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Next Take Pod. You can also find links to our Reddit page and many other things, I'm sure. Can't remember all the top of my head. You can also email us at mikeltanyka@gmail.com. There you can send us any inquiries that you have, any questions, or also any episode ideas. And if you do have episode ideas, just make sure you put in the subject line episode ideas, and we'll add it to our list. If you also liked us, you can like us, rate us, follow us on any of your favorite podcast apps. You can rate us, however, on Spotify and Apple Podcast. We would greatly appreciate that. And we'll also move forward and share or spot a light on those who give us 5-star ratings in the future. That is it for us. We'll see you next time for the episode.